Hey guys, it's your girl Idi and I'm back with another video. So, as most of y'all know, my boyfriend is in the army. If you don't know, I have a video posted that's titled Saying Goodbye to My Boyfriend. And that video was filmed literally a couple of days after he left, but it did take me a couple of weeks to upload it because I had to make sure that he was okay with me posting it. And so I didn't know his answer until a couple of weeks later because, you know, mail takes long to get sent and be received. But right now he's about halfway done with his training, and I wanted to update you guys a little bit on what's been happening, just because some of y'all might be going through this and I don't want you to feel alone, and it's normal to feel upset and it's normal to miss somebody. Also, some of y'all might have family members or friends or a significant other that will go through this, or maybe you're just interested in seeing our journey through it all. But let's get into it. So he left about 5 weeks ago, and the first week that he wasn't here, we had absolutely no communication. I just had to trust that he was alright and that everything was well. And one day I randomly get a text from him, and the text had the address of where he was, and he asked his family and me to start sending him letters. So I, of course, that day immediately wrote a letter and I sent it the next day because the mail lady had already passed by that day. And it gave me such a relief to be able to send him a letter to motivate him, to let him know that he's not alone and that everybody has love and support for him. This journey is obviously going to be hardest on him because he left not knowing anybody and not knowing what he was going to go through. But so far he has written me 4 letters, and honestly I'm lucky to have those 4 letters. It might not be a lot, but you know, I'm glad to hear from him. I'm glad that he's doing well. I'm glad that he has people over there that are going through the same thing and that he can talk to. And I'm really glad that he's doing this for himself and that he's pushing through. Something that I really wanted to touch on was how we're both doing mentally and emotionally. And as for him, obviously it was kind of scary in the beginning, and he doesn't know a life without his family and obviously without me as well. We've been together for almost 4 years. We've been inseparable ever since we started to be together. We're literally each other's best friends. We used to hang out all the time, and so being with someone almost every day and then just being separated can be really hard at first. But obviously we pushed through that, and now we have some type of communication, even though it's just letters. It's something that keeps us both motivated. He knows that I have all the support and love for him, and that his family has love and support for him, and I'm glad that we can send him letters with encouragement. As for me, the first 2 weeks were alright. I was staying as positive as I could. I was trying to focus on myself and, you know, school obviously. But after those first 2 weeks, I kind of started becoming negative. I got way into my head and just made up scenarios in my head that would most likely never happen. But on top of that, I was stressing from school and it wasn't easy. But luckily I have my family here to help me for that period of time where I was really negative. I didn't really want to talk to anybody, and I was just kind of, you know, focusing on myself and figuring out what I could do to be more positive and, you know, just push through tough times. And I do think this time apart will help us grow stronger because we've honestly never really been separated like this before. I mean, I do leave for 2 weeks every year out of the state, but obviously we have communication through our phones, but this is completely different and it's way longer as well. I think this has taught us how not to be dependent on each other for absolutely everything, and that you shouldn't be dependent on people most of the time, that you should just trust God and trust the process. At the end, all of this is gonna be really worth it. It's just that the beginning of the journey is always the hardest because it's a really dramatic change in your life. it also shows us how strong our love is for each other, because when he comes back we'll pick up where we left off, because we have such a strong connection. And I wanted to share something with you guys that he told me in the letters, or actually two things. The first thing, it's kind of short, but I was writing to him about the stresses I had besides the fact that he was gone, and he was telling me how things will fall into place. And after reading that letter, I felt so motivated. I felt so positive. That saying that he told me really stuck with me. And the second thing I wanted to share with you guys is what he told me in a different letter. And what he said was that I should take this time to really figure myself out and to find out what I love to do and just experiment. And I thought that was really sweet of him to say to me, because he obviously wants the best for me and I obviously want the best for him. But he knows that I struggle socially because I'm very awkward. If you've met me, I can be really quiet in the beginning, but if you really get to know me, I'm a whole different person. But also hanging out with him, we're very similar in many ways. Luckily, we enjoy most of the same things, but we do have our differences. And one of my differences is that I really like being outside. I just like sitting outside, hiking, walking, literally just being active in any way, or even just sitting and breathing fresh air outside. It's not that he doesn't like those things, it's that he much rather do something else. I don't force him to go outside with me and do all these crazy things, but I think it's so sweet how in the letter he mentioned to me that I should go explore the outdoors. He literally goes out his way to make me happy, and that really warms my heart because he's literally just the nicest person you'll ever meet. But the last thing I want to update you guys on is that I have received 2 phone calls from him, and the first time that he called me, I was so in shock when I got the phone call, because I had heard from his family that he was gonna call at some point, but we just didn't know when. And when he called me, I was so speechless. Like, when I was speaking to him, I was breathing hard because I could not believe it. My heart was racing, and it was just really nice to hear his voice. And I think it motivated both of us to be positive and to just push through it. And obviously the second time I was really excited as well. We talk about like what he's going through and what I'm going through, and we try not to focus on negative things. Like, I try not to tell him like, oh, like this is how school's going, because I just want our phone calls to be, you know, happy, and I just want to pick up where we left off, you know, just being goofballs. If you guys ever seen us hang out, all we ever do is crack jokes and laugh, and we just have the best time ever. When we're together, it feels like we're escaping reality. We feel like we have no worries in the world. We feel like we can be ourselves. And to be honest, I feel my most authentic self when I'm with him, just because I spend a lot of time with him and he's really accepted who I am. I'm not afraid to be myself around him, which is really nice. And he's not either. He really encourages me to be myself, because I could be a little bit crazy with him, but he's gotten used to it and he realizes that that's what makes me me. And if I wasn't that way, then I'd be really boring and just not myself. I'm sorry if this is getting too mushy, but you know, I'm just really proud of him. I just want people to know that he's amazing. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the support. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.